All right, we're going to continue with our awards presentations right now, and we're going to begin with the Invisible No More Perseverance Award. The 2015 recipient is Diane Van Deren. Diane has been chosen based upon her perseverance and strength overcoming decades of living with epilepsy and now the trauma of it. She's pretty tough lady coming up here. You'll see what I mean. She's going to clobber me with these crutches. Diane Van Deren on her way up here.
Let's have some fun. I'm coming, guys. Here's my disability. Whoa. Okay. There you go. Let's try it. I can do that. Great, thank you. Okay, let's hop over.
Got it?
Yeah.
Script.
Okay. Sorry, a little ankle surgery has kind of put me behind a couple weeks. My husband's going to love this, because I don't think he's ever seen me stand still in one spot for 34 years of our marriage. Hey, thank you, IDA. Really, I'm truly honored to be a part of this award tonight, and I'm just looking out at each and every one of you, and really and truly how blessed each of us are. I guess my journey began that as a very young child, I was very athletic, and anything with a ball, a bat, movement, anything that I can compete against the girls or even the boys, that's what I wanted to do. I was attracted to sports at a very young age. And as I got older, I picked up the sport of tennis. After winning, some state championships and playing on the national tour, and my dream was to become a professional tennis player. I wanted to play pro tennis. So I ended up leaving high school 3 months early and ended up, getting all my classes done, got my degree, and there I was, 6 rackets under my arm. Wilson Sporting Goods sponsored me, and there I was, living my dream. Playing in Europe, I was in a different country every week, and I was playing professional tennis. And as the years went by, and as I was traveling and playing the pro tennis, after a while I was ready to come home and take a break and have some time to regroup. And in the meantime, I meet this wonderful man that I fall in love with. And my husband Scott and I got married, and then we had 3 beautiful children. In the midst of having these 3 beautiful children at the ages of 1, 3, and 5, I was diagnosed with epilepsy. For 10 years, I had tried every medication that was available. Nothing worked. I was always having a fear of the unknown. I never knew when that next seizure was going to appear. And for some reason, here I am with 3 small children, and here I'm playing the pro tennis tour. Man, I'm feeling invincible. Nothing's going to bring me down. And these seizures started off far and few between. And then as the years went on, they became closer and closer. Once again, we tried every medication that was available, and nothing worked. But I can look you in the eye, and I can tell you now that when I had a seizure, and I came out of that seizure, whether I bit a tongue or I zoned out or whatever that was, and when you have your children looking over you, I never said, why me? I never was angry. I never said, why me? Why not me? And I knew that God had always had a plan. But 10 years of having debilitating seizures, it didn't work. Nothing was working. So I opted for brain surgery. And for brain surgery, you had to go under, a tremendous amount of testing. But I did have all these tests done. They found the spot that my seizures came from my right temporal lobe. So the doctors went ahead and they saw the side of my head open. Now, it wasn't tumor, it wasn't cancer. It was just damaged tissue from having seizures for so many years. And they removed about the size of a golf ball from my right temporal lobe. And the good news is, I'm seizure-free. I'm seizure-free. I'm living the most incredible life. I've been off medications now for years. But, there's a consequence. I haven't had a seizure since, but nobody's going to remove a part of your right brain. There's not going to be a consequence there, right? So what do I struggle with? I struggle with memory, overstimulation, sense of direction, cooking, vacuuming, housework. Right, sweetie? But seriously, you know, and the good news is I am seizure-free. And then after I got through those seizures and the kids got older, then I found this love for running. I loved running. And even when I had a seizure, an onset coming, you know what? I would go run, and I'd run to the mountains. And people say, how did you get into these crazy 50 and 100-mile races or more? Because it began from running from the fear of the seizure. And when I got to those mountains, man, that was my safe spot. I never ceased running. So as I was running all these races, then I signed up for a 50-mile race. I won. And then I've heard that you can go farther. And I heard there were 100-mile races. So I signed up for 100, and I won. And I did more and more. And then I started competing on a professional level. North Face, they picked me up and took me under their wings, and I was running 100-mile races all over the world. Now, I'm going to tell you, when you do a 100-mile race, it's a little bit different than a marathon. I start at 3, 4, 5 in the morning. We all start at the starting line. We hit our headlamps on. We run through trails. We run through rivers, rain, mountains. We climb mountains. We run nonstop. And we're in the middle of nowhere. Sometimes people don't know where you are. And so some of my races would go 28 hours straight, and some would go 45. But I'll tell you tonight that when we do these races, we have to fill out these medical forms before we run. You know, have you ever had any high blood pressure? No. Have you ever had any health problems we need to know? No. Have you ever had a brain injury? No. Have you ever had a seizure? Heck, no. Have you ever had, I never wanted to disclose what I had been through, because what race director is going to put me on a course and say, we'll see you in 2 days, and I hope you're all right? Never disclosed my history of seizures until I wanted to prove that I was an athlete. I wanted to prove that I could be a professional athlete, and I wanted to be at my top of my game until my story came out. So when I was announced Female Trail Runner of the Year and I was looking at a crowd like this with all the top athletes in the world, that's when my story came out. That is when I talked about my journey and what I've been through. And I can tell you now that I've been a professional endurance athlete for 13 years now, and I do get these incredible opportunities to run all over the world and to run places where nobody's ever been. But my running really and truly, when I podium win or whatever that is, but my incentive is that it's not as much about the win, but my running's given me a platform to talk about my journey. And I feel blessed, and I feel gracious. So I'd like to just end tonight with a saying that I know a lot of you live this way also, but this saying to me is just something I hold dearly to my heart. Yesterday was history. Tomorrow is a mystery. But today is the presence, and that's why we call it the gift. Thank you. God bless everybody.